Welcome to the Get Fit Guys, quick and dirty tips to slim down and shape up. My name is Ben Greenfield. I'm the Get Fit Guy, and in this special two-part series, I'm going to give you my top 9 healthy ingredients for the ultimate fitness smoothie and pretty much fill you in on everything you need to know to make your smoothie pop with goodness. Now, there is an article that I wrote called 6 Crazy Exotic Superfood Cocktails, Shakes, and Mind-Bending Recipes. I'll link to that article if you just go to quickanddirtytips.com and look for the show notes for this episode number 328. Now, in that article, I claim that I truly believe I could survive the entire rest of my life armed with merely a blender and a handful of select superfoods. Now, if your idea of a smoothie is a handful of spinach and a banana and a bit of ice, then prepare for your mind to be blown by the cornucopia of immune-supporting, metabolism-boosting, cognition-enhancing, muscle-building ingredients you can add to your own smoothie or shake. Now, in this special 2-part article series, I'm going to fill you in on my own smoothie recipes and then give you the lowdown on what I consider to be the very best part of any good smoothie. The top 9 ingredients you can toss into your smoothie after the blending process is complete. Ingredients for the added crunch, texture, and flavor that can morph a simple smoothie from a ho-hum liquid salad into a complex recipe that tastes like a nourishing, healthy version of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Now, with the proper ingredients and close attention paid to flavor, balance, texture, and of course, nutritional profile, a smoothie can easily be transformed from an industrial tasting protein shake to a natural, clean, satisfying, and delectable, mildly hedonistic treat. Just imagine a rich spoonful of flavorful cacao nibs, coconut cream, maqui berry, and almond butter. The selection of smoothie essentials that you'll discover in this 2-part episode will give you just that and allow for any number of unique combinations. Sound pretty tasty? All right, let's do this. Now, although a nuked Reese's peanut butter cup can certainly brighten a weary morning, I've come a long way since my daily breakfast of, I'm not kidding, microwaving oatmeal with protein powder, peanut butter, and a chocolate bar. That really did used to be my go-to breakfast. Instead, now, every morning, I simply chew on what I consider to be the most nourishing, vitamin and nutrient-packed meal of the day, my morning smoothie. And by chew, I do indeed mean chew. I use a high-quality blender that can take a serious beating. I mix my entire smoothie at a texture that allows me to eat it with a spoon so that the enzymes in my mouth can initiate pre-digestion. Then I scoop it all into my lucky Theodore Roosevelt Man in the Arena mug. And by the way, you can check that out at bengreenfieldfitness.com/arena mug. It's the best mug known to man, basically. Anyways, my smoothie is constantly evolving. I've got one version of my smoothie that I'll link to in the show notes over at quickanddirtytips.com for this episode 328, from about 2 years ago, and then another version from last year. But the current iteration I will describe to you right now. Here's how you do it. You get 4 to 8 varieties of leafy greens, wild plants, vegetables, and herbs. You chop them and you add them to the blender. So that might include dinosaur kale, spinach, cucumber, celery, mint, parsley, cilantro. Or in another morning, I might gather purple cabbage and red lettuce, carrot, basil, and ginger. There's no rules. Just go for variety and a rainbow of colors. Now to that, I add 3 to 6 ounces of full-fat coconut milk, teaspoon of MCT oil, about half of an avocado, 1 to 2 scoops of a vegan or a whey protein powder, a couple teaspoons of organic Ceylon cinnamon, which can lower blood sugar response to a meal, and a couple teaspoons of organic cacao powder for chocolatey goodness. And then after blending for added texture, crunch, and the whole chewability factor I talked about earlier, you can add any of the essential smoothie ingredients you'll discover later in this article series. But for a quick example, on a typical morning, I'd toss in a handful of unsweetened coconut flakes, a tablespoon of organic cacao nibs, a handful of raw almonds, 3 to 5 Brazil nuts, and a pinch of high-quality salts. Now, that recipe might seem overboard to you, but one of my readers recently sent their recipe in to me, a recipe he drinks each day, and a recipe that makes the complexity of my own smoothie that I just described to you seem pretty trite. I will go through this in extremely fast detail just to give you an idea of what this dude puts into his smoothie. And then I'm going to link to his entire smoothie and the full recipe over in the show notes at quickanddirtytips.com. Brazil nuts, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, Primal Defense Ultra, active lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin D3, thorn curcumin, Cissus quadralaris extract, pine pollen extract, bladder whack powder, tongue powder, maca root powder, MSM powder, cinnamon powder, maqui berry powder, matcha green extract, sunflower lecithin, cacao nibs, cacao butter, schizandra extract, astragalus root extract, chlorella powder, spirulina powder, seaweed goji berries, collagen protein, spring water, raw milk kefir, natto, aloe vera juice, celery, basil, rosemary, parsley, cilantro, ginger, cranberry juice, olive oil, coconut vinegar, an avocado pit, raw frozen liver, palm oil, stevia, 2 pastured raw eggs, and protein. Now, of course, like I mentioned, the complete recipe is over in the show notes. And granted, when I talk to this gentleman, he batches that smoothie. He'll make it all on one day and then have a whole bunch left over for a few days. But holy smoothie, that's a more giant, scary, and intimidating smoothie than mine, albeit delicious, as I've attempted his entire recipe with surprising success. Hey, if you're listening to this, I'm guessing you're a podcast fan. Anyways, during the month of March, Quick and Dirty Tips is joining hundreds of other shows to get people as excited about podcasting as we both are. And I'd like you to help. So here's how you can do it. Think of a few shows, a few podcasts that you really love, and then reach out to a coworker or a friend or a relative and tell them why they might enjoy it too. So, like, for example, I recently sent my brother my favorite episode of the Nutrition Divas podcast, which if you haven't listened to it, you must. You can grab that over at quickanddirtytips.com. And now he's hooked on all the nutrition geekiness that she dishes out every week. It's that simple. So, of course, I'd prefer that you share this show, but you can share any show you want. You can share your recommendation on social media too. When you do, include the following hashtag, TryPod. That's TRY pod. So we can actually see if the recommendation I just gave to you is catching on with anyone. But use hashtag TryPod when you share this show, and you don't have to use a hashtag if you're just calling up your mom on the phone and telling her about the show. But if you use it on social media, do use a hashtag TryPod. And thanks so much for listening in and helping to support the show. Now, in next week's episode, I'm going to dive into the fun stuff. 9 essential smoothie ingredients that can transform any smoothie into an ultimate nourishing cup of deliciousness and let you plug and play your own choice of superfoods into your own smoothie recipe. Don't worry, it's not going to be as daunting as that recipe that I just described. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, before we get to that, if you have your own recipes or questions, comments, or feedback about any of the essential healthy smoothie ingredients that you've learned so far, or you have your own ultimate fitness smoothie ingredients to add, then join the conversation over at facebook.com/getfitguy. And until next week, when I'll reveal 9 smoothie ingredients, I'm Ben Greenfield, the Get Fit Guy, asking you, what are you waiting for? Go get fit.